Okay,
and
the
we will
other thing
manage well
about
the
the
rehearsal,
opening
and
ceremony
that's
that
the
came
beauty
in
of the event.
for a lot of discussion was the idea of keeping Bollywood out of the ceremony. There was a bit of Zangura, but there was no real Bollywood presence. The Aishwarya Rais, the Katrina Kaifs, the Salman Khans weren't there. Prasoon Joshi, I know that the government ministers were insisting, even the cultural committee didn't want Bollywood. It came up initially, the ministers vetoed that. But do you really believe it was in the end a good idea to keep Bollywood out? Because Bollywood is a major part of contemporary Indian culture. It doesn't need to be the only thing that happens, but surely there could have been a small part, a small component from Bollywood as well.
It was a conscious decision not to completely make it Bollywood. Bollywood is easy way out. You know, you have everything ready-made there. You've got ready-made songs, you've got ready-made shows. The Bollywood shows happen all around the world. So this was tougher to do, because you're doing everything new, and they're school students, there are people who are not professional in that sense, and they all came together. And I think the whole energy and warmth came from the fact that there were real people out there, and it was not that you took something ready-made and pasted it here. It was designed for this particular ceremony, and I think that's what was great about it.
Oh, sure. But I'm not suggesting for a moment, Anna, that we shouldn't have had the culture and tradition of India, which was visible at the opening ceremony. But Bollywood is a part of Indian culture. Why not have it there in the opening ceremony? It would have added to the glitz, the glamour, and given it that wow factor.
Well, I'm not complaining because I've had my, full-on dose of Bollywood all my life. But for me, this was like a whole education in learning, the finer parts, finer cultures, the smaller sub-states, their kind of dressing. So I'm not complaining because I got to learn a whole new world.
Which will now be translated on the big screen.
Perhaps.
Okay, Charu, for everyone who's been thinking and wondering about this Delhi versus Beijing debate, where do you stand? Lots of people tweeting in saying Delhi has bettered Beijing, Jai Ho India. Is that really pop nationalism speaking? How does the ceremony, just on a professional evaluation, compare with Beijing?
Well, let's get a graph going. But, listen, our administrative ways are different, and we can perhaps never be as precise and as structured as the Chinese will, because it's in their DNA. But we have a lot more color, and we have a lot more variety. I mean, China too has a lot of history and culture, by the way, so let's not go there because they match us. But I think our variety is a lot more. I think our enjoyment of our culture, I mean, the enjoyment within our culture, the dances and so on and so forth, are far in excess of what China can produce. So yes, I mean, culturally, we can showcase our history in a much better fashion in terms of structure, in terms of accuracy, in terms of should we say the choreography, getting the precision. We can't match the Chinese, so let's not go there.
But a lot of people in India and abroad, Viraf, have actually come out and said that the Indian opening ceremony had more color. It seemed more lively, it seemed it had more people, more real people. The Chinese seemed a bit stilted. Where do you really stand on that?
I think that there are two different worlds, India and China. China, what they did was very clinical, very mechanical. They did a lot of rehearsals. They did some 2 years of rehearsals, I believe. They spent a lot of money within the available. And this thing also, our Indian culture, the showcase of Indian culture, obviously our culture brought that color, our heritage got that color, our costumes got that color, and we blended that very beautifully with technology, so it all looked very beautiful. It looked, according to me, our Indian ceremony was very dil se kind of a feel. It was it had a lot of passion, it had a lot of emotion attached to it. And I think that's why it looked different, and it looked at there were real people doing, and we had got real people from different corners of India, from smaller villages. People were performing there, and that's what made it real.
Okay, you're saying the Chinese looked mechanical and clinical. A lot of people would agree. Charu wants to come in very quickly.
One point that perhaps I didn't expand on is the fact that there is, and I'm an Indian, so I suppose that people say I'm biased, but there's a lot of true inner beauty in the average Indian. And when that comes across and you showcase it with a lot of color, I think it has no chance but to look spectacular.
Yeah, so what if you don't have people flying around in the stadium? Our security guys didn't do it. Otherwise, apparently, they had plans to have some people flying around. Is that correct, Anna? And then the security people said that can't quite happen.